Hey folks, my name is Max Wolf. I'm Senior Backend Engineer on the Product Analytics team, and I want to talk about building our funnel capability and proof of concept. Been working on for a few days. So let's get started. So in this issue here, we want to investigate what we can and can't do with funnels essentially and how we can implement them with Cube. The biggest initial hurdle was figuring out how we can allow users to define their own funnels. With all our other analytics so far, we're providing them, we're saying, okay, so you can access page view data, you can access number of sessions per user, that kind of thing. But for funnels, they have to be customized per application. You have to be able to say that the useful funnel is step A to step B to step C, and that will vary massively between different applications. Thankfully, Cube has this functionality called dynamic schema creation. So this allows us to essentially, instead of defining a static schema, we can pull in external API endpoints. Thankfully, we have one of those in GitLab. So I've built a very basic API that's attached to projects, and it can return funnels. And a funnel is made out of a name and a bunch of steps. So to convert a funnel, step A has to be completed, and step B has to be completed within a certain amount of time. So we can see a funnel I've created. Let's load the Rails console. So I've created a funnel. Let's just load it up here. And it's made of a name. It's associated with a project, and it has to, all the steps within the funnel have to be completed within this number of seconds. And each funnel has many steps. So in this case, the step is made out of multiple page views. So it must view page 1 first and then page 2 after that. And both of these are associated with the funnel above. So our API is quite simple. It pulls out the project for each funnel, so you can define multiple funnels per project. We basically build out JSON payload, which we send, which Cube then queries. So that's all well and good. Let's load up all. So here's our API. Number 21, initializing as we usually would in the normal way. And you can see it's generated this. So steps, it's an array. And for this one, it must generate this SQL. For this one, we must have an element in this SQL too. And within the funnel definition, we segment it by user anonymous ID, so we know which user it is, and we're using Jitsu's standard UTC time. Cube has a strange thing whereby when you're pulling in external, using an external API, you must convert the SQL here. Instead of a string, it has to return an anonymous function that returns a string. So, as you would expect, we now have access to this number of conversions, and that's generated dynamically. So we could change it around and see if it works. So, for example, if we take the funnel, and let's just, for example, update the funnel's time to convert seconds. Let's just make it like 3 seconds. No, let's go a million seconds. That's updated. And we'll need to restart Cube because I haven't set up caching correctly yet. So let's quit the console. Now we should see in the API response, this value here should update. When GDK wakes up. There we go, time to convert billion seconds, and presumably we're going to get the same response from this because we've increased that even more. Let's see if we can change it in such a way that actually makes a difference. Okay, go with 1 second. Hopefully I've set my test data up in such a way that means that that won't be a problem. Restart Cube again. That will go off to the GitLab API. Put in the new version of it. You can see there's no data there because there were no successful conversions. And we can do all kinds of other things with it. So let's update this back to something where I know it will work. And we can create another step. Right? There we go. Let's create a new step. So the funnel is A. We've got B, name, call it another step. B dot target. So that's the page view in this case. I'm going to go with page 3. So then use on your keyboard. And then the action is an enum, which currently we've just set to a page view, and that will generate the appropriate SQL. So we've created another step. So now if we look in a.steps, did I not save it? Oh, load.steps on it. Yeah, there we go. So we got 1, 2, 3 steps. Now all these have to happen within however many seconds it is, a billion. And if we check the API again now, you can see there's now 3 steps for this one to be there. I don't have any data that it visits a third page, but we can still reload it. It'll go off, grab that third step as well, implement it as part of the funnel. You see now, and we can build the UI in GitLab itself to actually generate these funnels and pass them into Cube. Well, that's new, but I'll have a look at that later. But you can see the generated code. There's our joined events, page 1, page 2, page 3. Okay, so this is sort of a very, very first brief proof of concept. Hopefully I've proven the idea that this could be something we can build into something quite useful.